every Targaryen I get my hands on.
Everyone who isn't us is an enemy.
Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
We are Ironborn. We take what is ours. The Lannisters send their regards.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 prediction video. Like I said in one of my previous videos, one of my close friends finally decided to start watching Game of Thrones, and I have been trying to watch as many episodes with him as I can because I wanted to help guide him through the series. Well, this past week I was able to watch a handful of episodes, and I couldn't help but get the feeling that the show is still hinting at a possible relationship between Sansa Stark and Tyrion Lannister. Now, I know this is by no means a new theory, but if you take a look at some of the scenes I want to show you, it may shed a little bit more light on the idea of these two getting back together. I actually made a video about this over a year ago, and that video was titled, Will Sansa Stark Become a Lannister? In that video, I talked about Sansa and Tyrion ending up together in the end, but now I want to provide some more clues that may prove they are foreshadowing this actually happening. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, aren't they married already? Tyrion and Sansa's marriage was never officially dissolved, but you have to keep in mind, Tyrion and Sansa's marriage was never consummated either, so it may not be viewed as a legitimate marriage.
And Sansa, I hear she's alive and well.
She is.
Does she miss me terribly? A sham marriage, and unconsummated.
I didn't ask.
Well, it was. Wasn't. Anyway.
We are now heading into the final season of Game of Thrones, and they will have to wrap everything up in 6 episodes, which can't be an easy task. There are going to be a lot of reunions next season, and one I'm really looking forward to seeing is the reunion between Sansa and Tyrion. The last time they saw each other, they were married, and neither of them wanted to be forced into that situation. But now that so much has happened since then, I think them getting back together is definitely possible, but not a guarantee. Now, I know there are a lot of other eligible bachelors. Some people think Sansa could end up with Gendry, and some other people think Sansa could end up with Podrick, but you have to look at it like this. If Sansa does happen to marry again, what would make the most sense? Sansa has never met Gendry, and she doesn't know Podrick at all. Sansa is now in a position of power, so I don't see her being forced into a marriage ever again, which means she will only marry someone she is willing to accept as a partner. If Sansa ended up marrying Gendry or someone else besides Tyrion, I think it would be too rushed. Like I said, there are only 6 episodes left, and a few of those episodes are going to feature some pretty big battles, which only leaves a handful of episodes to push the story forward. Sansa and Tyrion already have a built-in relationship and history together. They could explain them two getting back together a lot easier than having Sansa meet and marry someone new, which would also most likely be someone she has never had a one-on-one scene with before. I just don't see them finding her a brand new match with very few episodes left. They don't have enough time when they already have so much to wrap up with the Night King and Cersei. Now, in order for Sansa and Tyrion to make their marriage official, that would mean Sansa would have to want to do this, and she hasn't shown many signs of affection for Tyrion. However, she does know Tyrion is nothing like the other Lannisters.
All dwarves are bastards in their father's eyes. What does that mean?
It's something he said to me the first night we met. You know him better than any of us. What do you think?
Tyrion's not like the other Lannisters. He was always kind to me, but it's too great a risk.
Tyrion is one of the very few people Sansa has met that has never truly wanted anything from her. Sansa also knows that Tyrion would never hurt her. Even on their wedding night, Tyrion promised her this, and he proved that he would not take advantage of her or force her to have sex with him like Ramsay did. Tyrion may not be the most handsome man in Westeros, but he does have many other redeeming qualities about him, and this is something Sansa may grow to admire or respect about Tyrion. Marjorie Tyrell once said something to Sansa that I thought was very interesting, and what she said may have stuck with Sansa after all of these years.
Women like tall men. Some like short men. Some like hairy men, some like bald men. Gentle men, rough men, ugly men, pretty girls. Most women don't know what they like until they've tried it. And sadly, so many of us get to try so little before we're old and grey. Tyrion may surprise you. From what I've heard, he's quite experienced.
At the time, Sansa was still dreaming of living out her life like a fairy tale. She wanted to marry the handsome prince and have his babies, then one day become queen. But after her time spent in King's Landing, all of those dreams were shattered, and I would bet that her outlook has probably changed. Tyrion may not look like the person Sansa had envisioned herself settling down with, but Marjorie made a very good point. Most women do not know what they want until they have tried it, and that doesn't just go for women, but that also goes for men as well. Sometimes you think you know what you want, but once you've tried it, you might not want that anymore, and the thing you did not expect to like may come along and sweep you off of your feet. Sansa and Tyrion have both had very bad experiences in relationships, and I don't even think I need to go into why. We all know how Joffrey treated Sansa, and we all know what Shae ended up doing to Tyrion. The funny thing is, Tyrion once said something to Sansa that may have been right all along.
Half man, the demon monkey, the imp.
You're a Lannister. I am the disgraced daughter of the traitor Ned Stark.
The disgraced daughter and the demon monkey were perfect for each other.
When referring to the both of them, Tyrion said to Sansa, the disgraced daughter and the demon monkey were perfect for each other. There was something else Tyrion once said that could be foreshadowing their future. Like I said earlier, the last time Tyrion and Sansa saw each other was during Joffrey's wedding. After Joffrey had ingested the poison, Sansa was rushed out of the city, and Tyrion was held responsible for Joffrey's murder. During his court hearing, Tyrion demanded a trial by combat. When Tyrion sent for Bronn, he was hoping he could convince him to fight for his freedom once again, but as we all know, Bronn declined his offer. But during this conversation, Tyrion said something else that I want to point out, so let's take a listen.
What can I buy with gratitude?
You might be surprised. A Lannister always pays his debts.
Your sister's a Lannister too.
My wife is heir to Winterfell. If I emerge from this with my head still on my shoulders, I may one day rule the North in her name. I could carve you out a big piece of it.
If and may and could.
At the time, Sansa and Tyrion were still technically married even though it was never consummated, but Tyrion said if he was still alive after the trial by combat, he could one day rule the North, because Sansa was his wife, and she was thought to be the only surviving heir to Winterfell. Obviously, Sansa is not the only Stark that is alive, but Winterfell is pretty much hers at this point. Bran wants nothing to do with ruling the North, and Sansa is older than Arya. Now, Jon was king of the North, but he gave that up when he bent the knee to Daenerys. Once Jon finds out he is a legitimate Targaryen, he would actually be the heir to the entire Seven Kingdoms. But no matter how that plays out, I think Sansa will remain as the Lady of Winterfell, and this may have even been foreshadowed back in Season 5, during a conversation with Littlefinger. Let's take a look at this other scene I want to show you real quick.
And if you're right,
Stannis takes Winterfell. He rescues you from the most despised family in the North. Grateful for your late father's courageous support of his claim, he names you Wardeness of the North.
but I wouldn't.
The North will be yours. Do you believe me?
So as you can see, Littlefinger told Sansa that one day the North would be hers, and he was right. I find this interesting because what Tyrion said to Bronn might actually come true as well. Tyrion did survive the trial by combat, just like he'd hoped, and now he could even rule the North and beyond, with Sansa at his side. There is actually a little bit of foreshadowing in the books as well. When I was rereading the books, I made sure to leave post-its on every page that I thought might have some foreshadowing or connections to other things in the story. And there were a few quotes that might be hinting at a Sansa and Tyrion relationship in the end. The potential foreshadowing, or even parallels I should say, happen very early on in the books. What makes these interesting is the fact that they happen when both characters are basically introduced, which means George R.R. Martin may have been hinting at this pairing from the very beginning of the story. Tyrion's official introduction is when he talks to Jon Snow for the first time. After their brief conversation, Tyrion leaves to head back inside, and this is what Jon thinks. When he opened the door, the light from within drew his shadow clear across the yard, and just for a moment Tyrion Lannister stood tall as a king. Then, in Sansa's first POV chapter, this is what it says. She was a Stark of Winterfell, a noble lady, and someday she would be queen. Both of these quotes are written in at the very beginning of the first book, and they hint at Sansa becoming queen and Tyrion becoming king. Now this next one does actually relate to their relationship and possible future relationship. Right after Joffrey is poisoned at his wedding, Ser Dontos helps Sansa escape from the city. He escorts her to Littlefinger's boat, just like he does in the television show. Once Sansa is on his boat, they talk about what is happening, and this is what was said. Sansa tells Littlefinger they think Tyrion poisoned Joffrey. Ser Dontos said they seized him. Littlefinger smiled. Widowhood will become you, Sansa. The thought made her tummy flutter. She might never need to share a bed with Tyrion again. That was what she wanted, wasn't it? Littlefinger is basically telling Sansa that Tyrion will die, which is why Sansa will become a widow, and that made her stomach flutter. Then she thinks about not having to share a bed with Tyrion ever again, because that's what she thought she wanted. But then she questions herself because she says, that's what she wanted, ... wasn't it? I don't think she wants Tyrion to die, but she doesn't truly know what she wants. All she knows is she wanted away from Joffrey and Cersei. Tyrion wasn't actually the person who was causing her any problems, and now that she is off to God knows where with Littlefinger, she has no idea who she might have to share a bed with next, so sharing one with Tyrion might not have been that bad after all. Alright, now this next one actually refers to Sansa and Tyrion getting married again. This is when Littlefinger takes Sansa to her Aunt Lysa's in the Eyrie. While Sansa is here, she is worried that she will be forced to marry her little cousin Sweet Robin, and this is what Sansa thinks to herself. I will tell my aunt that I don't want to marry Robert. Not even the High Septon himself could declare a woman married if she refused to say the vows. She wasn't a beggar, no matter what her aunt said. She was 13, a woman flowered and wed, the heir to Winterfell. Sansa felt sorry for her little cousin sometimes, but she could not imagine ever wanting to be his wife. I would sooner be married to Tyrion again. If Lady Lysa knew that, surely she'd send her away. Away from Robert's pouts and shakes and runny eyes. Away from Marillion's lingering looks. Away from that sick pedo Peter's kisses. I will tell her. I will. The reason why I think this is interesting is because I know some people have said Sansa might marry her cousin Robin to secure the Vale army for good. But as you can see right here, Sansa would rather marry Tyrion again before she would ever marry that little shit Robin. If you look at all these things on their own, they don't really mean that much, but when you look at it as a whole, I think it's definitely a possibility that they could get together again. Not a guarantee, but a possibility. There is one other thing I want to mention, then I will let you go, and this could be seen as a spoiler, so please proceed with caution. Some photos recently came out, and it showed nearly the entire cast in Spain, which is where they filmed their scenes in the Dragon Pit. This was right at the same time that the King's Landing set in Belfast was also very active. Well, when these photos started to come out, there was one photo that really piqued my curiosity. In this photo, you can see Sansa and Tyrion's body doubles. This photo was also taken near the Dragon Pit at the same time Sophie Turner and Peter Dinklage were in town. This leads me to believe Sansa and Tyrion will be filming some scenes together, and they will most likely take place in the Dragon Pit since they were scheduled to film there at this time. I recently made a video where I talked about what I thought could be happening in the Dragon Pit. In that video, I said Jon or Dany could possibly be giving some type of speech after they take King's Landing, but there was one other possibility I thought of that I did not mention in that video because I was saving it for when I made this one about Tyrion and Sansa. I will admit this is kind of a crazy idea, but when I saw Sansa and Tyrion's body double there as well, I figured something must happen between the two of them. If Sansa and Tyrion do get back together, they could end up ruling together in some capacity, depending on what Jon and Daenerys decide to do. If this would happen, perhaps Sansa and Tyrion make some kind of an announcement together in the Dragon Pit. Maybe they are given the North, just like Tyrion predicted in his conversation with Bronn. Or maybe they announce they are renewing their vows. Tyrion and Sansa will obviously be present at the Dragon Pit, and hopefully they aren't just standing around. Let me know what you think about all of this. Do you think any of it could be seen as foreshadowing? Put your comments down below. Also, if you haven't seen my last two videos, I just want to let you know that I am doing a new giveaway, and you still have plenty of time to enter if you would like to. I am giving away 2 prizes, which means there will be 2 winners. I have the Blu-ray box set and the A Song of Ice and Fire book collection to give away. If you want to enter, just click on the link that is down below in the description. Good luck everyone, and thank you for watching the video. I also want to give a big thanks to everyone that supports the channel on Patreon. I really appreciate that. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.